Let's have a look at Week 3's Too Hot to Handle challenge. Star-Lord, Nebula and Ronan are at the golf range having a longest drive competition. Ronan hits his ball 20% further than Star-Lord, Nebula hits her ball 25% further than Ronan, and Nebula hits her ball 80 yards further than Star-Lord. And what we want to work out is, how far does Ronan hit his ball? We've not got too much information about how far any of them hit their ball, but what we can do is work out who hits the shortest drive and who hits the longest drive. Now, I know that Ronan hits his ball further than Star-Lord because it says he hits it 20% further, and I know that Nebula hits her ball further than Ronan, which means we can start by putting them out in order from shortest to longest drive. Now that we've done that, we can draw a bar to represent how far Star-Lord hits his ball. There we've got it there, and we're going to say that's 100%. That's the whole distance that Star-Lord hits his ball. Now Ronan hits his ball 20% extra. So let's start by splitting up Star-Lord's bar into 10 parts. Each of those parts are worth 10%, which means if I want to represent how far Ronan hits his ball, I'm going to draw the same bar, that's 100% of Star-Lord's shot, but then an extra 20%. So we're going to draw an extra 2 parts, which means he's hit his ball 20% further. Now for Nebula, we know that she hits her ball 25% further than Ronan. So let's start with the same distance that Ronan hits it. An extra 25% means we're going to add an extra quarter of what we've got there. Nebula's bar has been split into 12 parts. An extra quarter would be 3 parts, so we're going to add on that 3 parts. That's the extra quarter or the extra 25%. So there is 25% further than Ronan. The next piece of information that we know is that Nebula hits her ball 80 yards further than Star-Lord. So we know that those extra parts that Nebula has are worth 80 yards, and we can see there are 5 extra parts. Now that we know that, we can split that 80 yards between those 5 parts, which means each of those are worth 16. And if each of those parts are worth 16, then the rest of those must be worth 16. And if we know that's the case for both Star-Lord and Ronan. Now all we need to do is work out the total value of each bar. So for Star-Lord, we've got 10 lots of 16, which gives us 160 yards. Ronan, we've got 12 lots of 16, or we could just think of that as the 10 lots of 16 plus another 2 lots of 16. So we're just adding 32 to the 160 yards to give us 192 yards. And then Nebula, we've got 15 lots of 16. And again, we've got 3 extra parts, which comes to 48 yards. And if we add that on to Ronan's distance, then we get 240 yards. So the answer to the question, how far does Ronan hit his ball, is 192 yards.